25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. A good friend is in the studio. An old friend is in the studio. I don't think she's old. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
She's
oh my God! No, I mean, we've been friends for a long time.
It's just a number.
And she has the voice of an angel too. Gosh, I love your voice.
Janet Griffin is here. Gosh, I don't know how. I don't even know when we might have first met. Was it in radio?
Yeah, it was in radio. You were over there where the jail is now.
Yeah. WTMC. Yeah,
WTMC,
now I know what you mean.
yeah.
I'm thinking I was where the jail is now.
Across the street from you. You were in a building across the street from there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
and we used to sit on bar stools.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not a whole lot has changed actually.
No, not
so
much.
you look great. You look really
thank you
wonderful.
so much. Thank you.
How's everything with you?
Oh, it's going okay. You know, I lost my husband last year, so
I did not know that.
Yeah, even when we were doing the fashion show, I had mentioned that. But
wait a minute. I did. Yes, I did. I remember you said that. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm slowly getting back to myself. Sometimes, because when you're married, sometimes you lose yourself in your husband. You do what he wants, and you lose your personality. So now my personality is coming out.
Yeah, well, you look great.
Well, thank you so much.
You look great. You always look great. So you are here today to help spread the word, the similar message of Michelle Obama today.
Yeah, I know Michelle Obama is in Miami, encouraging the votes, and I feel so privileged to be doing the same thing she's doing today.
Is that a coincidence? Or are you part of the same team or what?
No, we have the same mindset, concern for our community.
What is it about it? Why do you think some people don't vote?
Well, there's several issues. The older community seems they're registered to vote from way back, and so, but when they get older, they can't get to the polls, okay, and some of them may even have been purged and don't know. And so when they get there, they can't vote because they're not registered because they've been purged, and sometimes they've been contacted, and when you get a letter or something, from the government, sometimes you trash it. You don't understand.
You should, right. It looks like junk mail.
Read
that is true. There's so much junk mail that looks like official mail that we have become, I guess, immune to.
Desensitized.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, that's what happens.
To the seriousness of opening it up and just reading it, And then when you open it up and read it, the language is such that you have to have a dictionary to understand what the words mean.
They put it in what they call legalese, right?
Legalese, it's not community sensitive, So,
and so that letter that they would have thrown away or not understood tells them, hey, we took your name off the voting. Is that right?
Yeah, you've been purged because a lot of people voted, for Obama in 2012, and now if they haven't voted since then, they're not registered. They've been purged.
So they have to re-register.
That was in 202012.
So
they have to re-register.
You have to be an active voter. Then you just can't vote in one election and then.
Yeah, you have to. And some people don't think it's serious to vote for your community elected officials, your state. And they don't go to those precincts to those elections.
Right.
They just only go to the presidential.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And the primaries are very important.
The primaries are very important too because you have a lot of people in that, like Republicans, or Democrats running for the same position. So you have to pick the one that you want to support.
So the midterm elections are in 2 months. When is the deadline to register?
The deadline is October the 9th.
Oh my gosh!
October the 9th.
So a weekend. So a week from Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's October the 9th. And there are some people that don't even know that,
Right. Some people just don't know. So as far as the folks who are unable to get to vote, I know Robin. I don't think she does anymore, but she used to do the mail-in vote only because she was here all day. So mailing was a better option for her.
Now I do early voting, but I do
mail-in. I do mail-in ballot also. So
Janet, do you know if with today's technology, are they ever going to make it possible to vote on your phone? Will you be able to do that one day, or is that dangerous?
I'm not sure. I would like to vote on my phone.
Me too. But I don't know if like the bad guys would be able to, take over or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's so many hackers, in the computer world. You never know what they might be able to do through your phone, and there are people out there that's dedicated to trying to do things like that.
So, have you ever run for office or considered it?
No. I have never considered to run for office, and I really don't, because sometimes there are stipulations to what you can do when you're in office. You can't like being. I'm just a community, inspired person. I want to help the community, and I'm not limited to what I can do and not do when you're in the community. When you have a voice for the. I don't have a voice for the community. I'm just concerned, that the community does not know some things, and if I find out the best possible way that I can get it out to them, I'm willing to do that,
So you've chosen us as a way to get the word out.
One way.
This is one way, and part 2 to this is the YouTube video that we're making right now. So once this is done, you'll be able to share this.
Be able to share it, yeah.
So can you talk to the people you need to talk to? Tell them what needs to be heard so that they get off their butt and go vote.
Okay, that's one thing that we need to encourage, because some people don't personalize it to themselves, and this is a preventive effort. When you vote, you prevent other things from happening. If you don't vote, then you're out there complaining that things are not going your way, but you can't speak to that if you didn't vote.
It's true.
Exactly.
If there's something that you don't like that's happening in the community, and the elected officials are doing this and doing that, they're doing what they want to do because you didn't vote the right way. And if you don't vote the right way without the education of knowing what you're going into the ballot box to do, then you're voting the wrong thing. So and when you go to these like seminars, people, when the elected, the people that are running for office come in and talk to you about what their ballot, what they stand for and what they want to do, that stuff can be misconstrued if you don't understand it. There's I think it was Amendment number 8. They took that off the ballot because it had other things attached to it.
That's right. Yes. Now that's on the Florida ballot. Yeah.
Yeah, the Florida ballot. That's what I'm concerned about. I live in Florida.
Yeah, so, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, they took that off. And I've been reading trying to understand the language of each of these amendments.
Good for you.
And there's some other things attached to the amendment that's not going to be on there when you vote for something. These other 2 things are coming along, and they don't have nothing to do with what's on the ballot.
And what you're saying right there is as important as voting itself. If the people who vote, because it's hard sometimes to know vote yes or no on an amendment. It's hard to know vote for this candidate or that candidate. It's not easy. But you listen to the candidates and you sort of make your mind up. But the amendments are just like those letters you referred to. They're written in such legalese, and they're so long. And the summary that they give you on the ballot is like, what, 5 lines, 6 lines? And the whole thing might be 8, 9 pages long.
And they expect you to stand there and read all that.
Right. So it is better to do it in advance, isn't it?
Yeah, do it at home. Get yourself knowledgeable on what's in that amendment. So and write it down. What you're gonna do. Vote yes or no on 1, 2, 3, or 4. So when you go in there, you don't have to take up all that time, because you're not gonna want to read all that stuff there.
Well, and what Robin and I try to do is we try to do that with those amendments and anything that's not a candidate. If it's a candidate, well, we can express our opinion. But I'd rather let you all and all of us just decide on the candidates, or let them make their own case. But as far as on-air people, we can take the time to go over each one of these amendments and maybe on one a day or something. And we have done that in the past.
I did. This is the first time that I've done that, read the amendments. and educated myself on the amendments. I've been going. I'm one of those people that go right on in there. I hear the candidates before I go to vote. And decide what candidate I'm gonna vote for. But then, as far as the amendments and what they have attached, after you vote for who he or she you want in the office, then they have these amendments. I just go down and but yes, no.
Yeah.
And this, when I heard that they had 13, there was so many amendments. Mm-hmm. And where I work at a church that feeds people, every Wednesday, and I had an opportunity to go in there, and I was putting up this poster board that said vote, and so I asked about 40 to 50 people were in there, having lunch, and I asked, is it, how many people are here are not registered to vote? No hands raised up. So I said, how many people voted for Obama in 2012? Or, some people raised their hand. I said, how many people voted since 2012? No.
Okay. Yeah, you're making a good point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think the Wesley Wilcox's office can send somebody to speak to groups, like to explain the amendments. I'm pretty sure that they've got a program over there where people volunteer to, if you need the amendments explained, we can do that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. I used to work there. At the.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Supervisor of election when Dee Brown was there, just before she passed away.
Right.
At that time, I've changed my party since then.
Have you?
But at that time I was, somebody that doesn't look like that party.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Do you want to take phone calls?
Yeah, we can take a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Janet Griffin.
Good morning. What you were talking about, the amendments, the way they're worded and everything. The one I find a lot of problems with is that increase of the homestead exemption. The way it's worded and the way I understand it is, if you vote for that amendment, you're giving them carte blanche to amend for them just to change that law as they go along. And I don't think I want to do that. Consequently, after looking at some of the other amendments, I just vote no for all of them. And it's not, they give you a promise, we're going to increase your homestead exemption, but, when you boil it down, I don't see it. And to me, the way I look at it is just vote no for all new amendments because of all the wording, stipulations, et cetera. They just can't keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. That's it, yeah.
So anyway, that's my view on it. Have a good day.
Well, if you vote no for everything, you could be voting no for something that you actually need. As far as that homestead exemption, as way I understand it, is they're going to give anybody whose home is worth $125,000 an extra $25,000 exemption. Right now it's $50,000, and that extra $25,000 will give them $75,000 exemption on a $125,000 home.
Let's see. I'm looking at the brochure that they put out at the Supervisor of Elections. What was the one that restores the voting rights for convicted felons? I think it was
that was 4. Number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4, yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I'm going to vote yes on that one.
That one sounds good. Yeah, because see, they've served they've done their what they had to do, to.
They paid the price.
Yeah, they paid the price, and that helps us out, a lot of people, increasing our voting power if they do go and vote,
So who do you think is the more receptive to the message, the young or the old?
Well, I think the older folks, I'm not sure that it's touched the younger folks yet so much. Now in the organization where I'm a part of, some of the organizations, I'm a part of several organizations, there are some intelligent, educated young people who are stepping up.
Uh-huh.
And
they are the leaders of tomorrow.
They are the leaders of tomorrow. There's some young people that are stepping up. But I may look at this a little different. The young people are more involved now, than maybe the older people, because some of the older people say, that they, like one lady told me, said she's ready to give her card back because they never done anything for me. Whoever they voted for didn't do anything for them. I beg to differ with that right there, because sometimes we don't do something for ourselves that we need to do, and we blame the
well, that's it. I mean, that's it. I don't know that we are set up to be a country where somebody gets elected into office and all of a sudden there's a handout waiting for you.
That's what some people think. That it's going to affect them personally. Or that they said they're going make us. Give us a job or something, that it's easy to go there with no experience. You still can't get that job.
I think if you look at let's look at the school board, very local, very much affects our children right in this community, right?
Yep.
And so when you're voting for somebody with the school board, you want somebody who you feel understands the needs of a teacher and the needs of a student. Those are the two things that they will be overseeing.
And that's in the amendment number 5. That would affect the school systems, health care. It would affect a lot of folks.
Okay, is that the one that?
That's the one with the 2/3. They have they have to have a 2/3 majority vote in the House and Senate.
Yeah.
And now it's just a simple majority vote, to get something, approved. But if you don't have 2/3, it goes back.
Number 8 is the school board term limit one.
Yeah, that's from the what is it, 2 to 6? Is it 2 to 6 years?
Creates a term limit of 8 consecutive years for school board members and requires the legislature to provide for the promotion of civic literacy in public schools. Currently, district school boards have a constitutional duty to operate, control, and supervise all public schools. The amendment maintains a school board's duties to public schools it establishes, but permits the state to operate, control, and supervise public schools not established by the school board. So
now you said that one's number 10?
That's number 8.
But that's the number 8 is the one that they did away with.
Okay. I'm just.
That's the
I'm
one.
I'm looking at the brochure that they put out by the supervisor for elections office.
They're saying that they shut that one down because it was there was some other things attached to it other than school. There was some other areas that wasn't involving the school. It was a trick question,
Well, how do we get the elected officials that submit those amendments to go back and revise them so each amendment that they want only has one topic in it? How do we slap their hands and tell them, look, we don't want this. You need to be above board.
I don't know what we can do about that, because in looking at these amendments, there are there's 3 or 4 things that you're voting for when you go in there and vote for the amendment. And like the school doesn't have anything, do anything to do with the judges. And there's one in here that says something about the judges can. What is it?
I remember that one. Yeah, there's something in there about something. Then they have the judges they threw in.
Yeah, the judges.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, have to retire.
Yeah, have to retire at 70, or we can increase it to 75, and then they have the right to themselves, I can't remember the wording on that. See if you see that on your
But
screen.
I think your main message today is not to educate on the amendments, but rather to encourage people to
read those amendments and get an understanding on them,
and then vote. Yeah.
And we're gonna, as it gets, we're preparing to put together, where we can pick up people who are registered and take them to vote. Those who are incapable, those who are maybe old and don't have transportation, to vote. We're gonna see that they get to the polls.
I'm looking here for the election dates. I think, when does the early election start?
Early voting starts on November.
The early voting starts October 25th. It says here.
It's October 25th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if the people aren't sure that they're registered, or even if they're sure, all they have to do is pick up the phone and
call the supervisor of elections and tell them, whether they were purged or not, because that's when I was working down there, that was one of the things that I had to do, when they call up, look up the information and give them, whether they were purged or not, so.
And now they've got, 9, 10, 11 days.
Yeah, 11 days to get register
or to change their party.
Yeah,
so it's up to them, and if they don't have transportation, they should be able to call somebody like yourself or an organization or the church they belong to be able to have them transported
it would be good.
Down there.
Yeah, it would be good for the churches, that especially those that have vans and stuff, to get involved, so they, because they know their congregation, and today, as I see with most church congregations, is senior population, majority, so it would be good if they got on board, to get out there, get there and ask their members if they're registered to vote. If not, you can get the registration forms, and get them registered. You just have to get them back to the office, the registration forms back to the office within 5 days once you fill one out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so the registration deadline is October 9th, which is October a week 9th. From Tuesday. So your message is, if I'm understanding you right, if you don't know if you're registered or not, take the time to call Wesley Wilcox's office, right?
Call their office. I believe the number is 620.
Oh, you got it on your head? Wow.
You have it? Yeah.
No, do you have it, Janet?
Yeah, so it's on that ballot thing.
All right, I will find it here. Connect with us.
It should be on
here. Here it is. It's 620-3290.
Yeah, 3290, yeah.
All right, so 620-3290 and register to vote. Do you know if you can register on the website?
You can't register on the phone. You'll have to go down to the office there, because you have to have your driver's license and stuff like that. So you can't register on the phone. They have to have proof of who you are,
Okay.
So.
And when you brought up people haven't voted since 2012, and that there are people out there that say, well, nobody's done anything for me, so why should I vote? They should study all the candidates and see which candidate they align with the issues, and then vote for that candidate, and then they can have an in. They can call that candidate's office and say, I voted for you, you and I are together on these issues, but I see that we need help in this area, and then they can help them.
Yeah, what I see as a concern for a lot of folks now with this voting thing is the amendments, that there are quite a few people are concerned about the amendments, being that there are 13 of them, and they don't understand the language in them and what it really says, and they're concerned,
John, I wanted to read this to you. On October 1st, 2017, a year ago, the Florida Department of State launched registertovoteflorida.gov. Registertovoteflorida.gov, a secure and convenient voter registration option now available to Floridians to electronically register to vote or update their existing record. It says, note, you will need a Florida driver's license or a state identification card and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. If you do not have a Florida driver's license or state identification card or Social Security number, you can still use the website to complete your application, but you will have to print, sign, and deliver it by mail or in person to the County Supervisor of Elections office. So they do have an online way of doing it.
There's an online way of doing it. I don't feel too secure with that.
You don't like that one?
No, because somebody could have passed away, and your family, you knew they voted, you got all their information, and you can enter it in there, and I just see so many a way that can be misused and abused,
But you still have to print it out and take it physically and be.
Oh, you still have to take it physically, okay?
At the office.
Okay,
so that'll cut down on.
That'll cut down on that. Okay, yeah, that'll cut down on
only
that.
If you don't. Only if they don't have on record your information. If you're a voter,
I see.
If your driver's license is already on record, or you have a state ID like Doug, he doesn't drive, but he's got a state ID, and your last 4 digits of your Social Security number, that will be just a way to match up to make sure it is you.
Yeah, and then you have a picture on the ID too. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is, can you find out if you are registered on this website?
I imagine so. I mean, because if you if you are registered, I mean, they're probably gonna run background to see if you are. Once you put your information in there, and they'll probably say our records indicate that you are already registered or something like that. You know, so you don't have to go further. You know, on the website, it might say something like that. You know.
But what's nice about Wesley Wilcox's office, all you got to do is pick up the phone, call them. A real person answers the phone, and then they can look up your information right there and see if you're registered or not.
Yeah, something happened to me about a month or so ago that speared me into this direction. I was going into a motor vehicle place, you know, to check my driver's license or something. I was going there for some reason or other, and there was a young lady sitting outside, and she was asking individuals if they were registered to vote. And so here I come, you know, and I'm ready to say proudly that I'm registered to vote. And this one gentleman walked, he was going in before me, and she asked him, she said, "Sir, are you registered to vote?" He said, "I sure am. There's no other way I would have it." And so she said, "Good." And then here I come, and she just let me walk on by without saying anything.
Oh my!
And I walked up a few steps, and I said, "She didn't just do that, did she?"
Oh, what a shame!
All right, so you have a really good message. Are you with Ignite Marion? Is that the
Ignite Marion?
Okay.
That's a community-based organization. People from all walks, you know, come together that are concerned with this community, any community issue. Right now is voting. You know, okay.
Well, you've always been an activist and always given to this community, and thank you for being a friend. Thank you for coming in here, and please, everybody, share Janet's message. Go vote.
Go vote.
Simple.
And take every opportunity to get in there. If you don't have transportation, call your local church, call your church, or even get your church involved. You know, say we want to vote. You know, let's get the van. You know, on the voting day and pick us up. You know, and if you haven't voted since 2012, get re-registered because you've been purged.
Absolutely. Good message, Janet. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. You all have been great at letting me come in here. You know, with my
Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. All right.
All right.
Anything else Ignite Marion is doing, you let us know. All right.
I sure will. You know, we got a fashion show could be probably coming up next year. You know, yeah. So I may be looking you up for that.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I love fashion shows.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. We'll be right back.
All right.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. 2 men were found shot near Alexander Springs yesterday near County Road 445 in Altoona. The men are in stable condition. 2 suspects have been arrested, charged with aggravated child abuse and battery for beating 4 people, including an 11-year-old girl. Former First Lady Michelle Obama will be at the University of